What is up, everybody? How's it going? Ben Gothard here, founder and show host of Project Egg, coming at you live. So today I'm going to talk to you about fear, and I want to tell you that you are afraid of the wrong thing. Okay, what do I mean by this? Most people are afraid of the wrong thing. See, most people are afraid of going out and trying something and having it not work. Most people are afraid of failure. Okay, there's just this primal fear that we as human beings have of being wrong, of being totally in failure, of not being worthy enough, of not being able to do the things that we're trying to do. And let me tell you, that's the wrong thing to be afraid of. Because if we live our lives in fear, and if we live our lives being afraid of going out and trying things, going out and doing things, going out and giving it our all, then we are holding ourselves back. Okay? What we should actually be afraid of is not taking enough action. What we should actually be afraid of is not putting ourselves out there enough, of not taking enough risk, of not pushing the line every single day and taking it to that next level time and time again. Because if we do not do it now, we're going to keep saying to ourselves, oh, it's not the right time. Oh, I'm too busy. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. And we're going to keep coming up with excuses. And if we give ourselves more time to think about things, that's when we start to think ourselves out of the ideas that we wanted to pursue. That's what you should be afraid of. You should be afraid of thinking yourself out of good ideas. You should be afraid of waiting too long to do things and having the opportunity pass you. You shouldn't be afraid to fail. It's gonna happen, right? Believe me, I know. I've been an entrepreneur for about 3 years now, and I'll tell you this, I've failed more than probably anybody else on the face of the planet. And I can admit it, and it's fine. I'm fine with it. You know why? Because every single time that I fail, every single time that I try something and it doesn't work, that I crash and burn, that is one less thing that I have to learn next time. That is one tiny piece of the puzzle that I know now. And I'm getting better, and I'm getting stronger, and I'm getting faster and smarter every single time. And so are you. So don't be afraid to fail. When you're afraid to fail, you're putting barriers in front of yourself. You're giving yourself extra obstacles. And let me tell you, there are enough obstacles in the world as it is. You don't need to create more for yourself. Most people are their own biggest enemy because they don't realize what they're doing to themselves. Like, we don't realize that we talk ourselves out of really good ideas all the time. We don't realize that we're so scared to fail that we give ourselves reasons to not push forward and to not pursue things that they could work. And a lot of the times it's not a matter of, oh, is this a good idea? Can this work? Will it work? It's like, are you going to invest enough time and effort and hustle and work your ass off enough to make it work, right? There's not a rule that's like, if you do this, check and check and check, it's going to work. And it's good, the things that you're going to do are just automatically, it's a yes or no. It's not like that. It's just not. Right? It's down to, if you're going to put in the work and you're going to give it that effort, then you can do the things that you want to do. You can accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. But if you're so afraid to even take that first step and you're like, oh my God, is this the right time? Am I going to fail? Are people going to think you're already screwed. You're shooting yourself in the foot and you're not going to be able to move forward. You're not going to be able to move forward. So do not be afraid of failure. Do not be afraid of trying. Do not be afraid of giving it your everything and of failing and of crashing and burning. It's going to happen. Let it happen sooner. Learn faster. Fail more often in the beginning so that you don't have to fail later on when the stakes are higher. For example, my first business, Gothard Enterprises, right? When I first started out, it was December 19th of 2014, and I had no idea what I was doing. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. Both my roommate and my dad called me at the same time, and they were like, hey, Ben, can you help us market our businesses? My dad has a law firm. My roommate has a t-shirt company. And they said, can you help us market our businesses? I said, sure, but don't pay me. Pay my company. And they were both like, what are you talking about? You don't have a company. I was like, I know. I'm going to figure it out. Don't pay me, pay my company. So I started Gothard Enterprises, and that's how it started. And you know what? I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing at the beginning, but I was willing to learn. And I'll tell you this, I failed so many times. I continued to fail time after time after time until eventually I found stuff that worked, right? Because you can only fail so many times before you stumble upon something that works. And I was going to school at the same time, so I wasn't even able to give it my full attention and my full time. But if you are able to just jump in and dive in, don't think about it too much, just go and start uncovering the things that you need to uncover to be able to move forward with your life and to move forward with the things that you want to do, you'll find that those things that you were afraid of before, they're nothing. You'll find out the real things to be afraid of, like competition and people who are going to intentionally try to put you out of business, right? Those things are like when you get past that original fear of, oh my goodness, can I do this? Like when you get rid of the whole limiting fear thing, that's when you start to understand the real problems of like, okay, I have capital requirements. I have time limitations. There are things that I don't know how to do that I need to go figure out. There are people who are doing this better than me. I have competition that has millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars that I'm competing against. But you know what? Those are great problems to have because that means that you're moving forward. The more that you move forward and the more successful that you become, the bigger the problems that you're going to have to deal with. So don't worry about these tiny little problems like being self-conscious or worrying about whether or not you're going to fail, because those things don't matter. They really don't. You know, how somebody perceives you, unless it's, you know, like a girl that you're trying to impress or a guy that you're trying to impress, in which case it might be a little different. I don't think it is, but it may be for you. It doesn't matter. Right? When you're going out to start a business, when you're going out to get a job, when you're going out to do those things that you need to do to survive, so there's no room to be self-conscious. You don't have time to be self-conscious, right? Think back like thousands of years. Think back to when people were in the feudal system and they were knights and they had to go to war with swords and they had to fight for their lives. They had to fight to survive. Do you think they cared what their hair looked like? Do you think they gave any thought at all to like how their nails looked or what type of clothes they were wearing? They didn't care. They were fighting for survival, and they were giving it everything that they have because they were worried about real problems. Okay, a lot of the problems that people think they have right now, and I'm not saying that I'm totally above this by any means. I'm speaking to myself as well because I deal with these too. But I just want to share my experiences with you to help you overcome it too, because these are the things that I'm working through also. So, you know, when you're thinking about these things that are stopping you right now, what is actually stopping you from doing the things that you want to do? Take a second and reflect on it. What is actually stopping you? Is it that you don't know how to do something? Because that's not an excuse. There's Google and there's YouTube. Okay, there are so many resources available to you to figure out how to do something. That's not an excuse. Is it that you don't know what you want to do? Okay, that's a little bit better of a problem because now you're starting to think bigger. You're starting to think more long term. You're starting to think, okay, what do I want to devote myself to? What do I want to spend my time doing? That's a great problem to start thinking about, by the way. I want to solve that problem for you right now so you can move forward, okay? If you want to figure out what you want to do in your life, all you have to do is take a piece of paper and a pen and start writing down ideas for what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, okay? Write down. Each line is a new idea. Keep writing, keep writing, keep writing, keep writing, keep writing. Eventually, you're going to write down something that you care enough about to stand behind. And then what I want you to do is I want you to go and volunteer for 1 hour doing that thing. If you like it, keep doing it. If you don't like it, don't do it. It's not that hard. You're not investing tons of money into this thing. You're not investing your lifetime to this thing. You're giving it 1 hour. If it works, go for it. If not, at least you can say, I gave it a shot. At least you will not be looking backwards in your life and say, I wish I would have done that, or I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have had more time. Because I do not want you to ever have to look back and say that. I don't want you to ever have regrets in your life. I want you to be successful. I want you to get everything that you want in life. So stop being afraid of the things that don't matter. Stop being afraid of failing. Stop being afraid of what you look like. Stop being afraid of whatever other things that you're self-conscious about, because those aren't the real problems. The real issue is whether or not you're taking action every single day. Are you going to figure out what you want to do, why you want to do it, and then take massive action? Because if you are, you can be successful. But if you're not willing to do those things, that's indicative of another problem. That points to me that there's another problem. Maybe you don't want it bad enough. Maybe you don't have enough drive at this point in your life. But you know what? There's nothing to be afraid of at this point in time. There's nothing that is stopping you from doing the things that you want to do. So don't be afraid. Just go. Just start. I guarantee you it's not as difficult as you think once you take that first step. That's my promise to you. It's not as hard as you think when you're first getting started. Now, it gets harder as you get further down the road. But that first step, it's not nearly as hard as you think. I promise you that. All right, so takeaways from this video. 1, don't be afraid. There's no need to be afraid. All right, especially if you haven't started yet, if you're not on the path, there's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. Nobody's going to come down and say, what you're doing is wrong and you're going to go to jail because you're trying to follow your dreams. That's not going to happen. In fact, when you start chasing your dreams and you start doing the thing that you really want to do and you start pursuing that life that you've always wanted to pursue, you're going to actually see that good things are being attracted to you because you are acting in a very positive manner and you're building momentum. So like attracts like. If you're putting out very positive, very good momentum, or you're building and moving forward in a very good way, other people who are on that same journey are going to attract to you naturally. And so that's actually going to help you move along. Okay? So don't be afraid to start. Don't be afraid to fail. Your insecurities, those don't matter. They just don't. They're personal insecurities, and it does not matter. Okay? What other people think about you, that really doesn't matter. That is probably the worst reason to not do something, is because of what people will think about you. But let me tell you this, and I'm going to end on this. The biggest thing to be afraid of, the absolute biggest thing on this planet to be afraid of, in my opinion, is not living up to your potential. Is not giving this life, this one very, very, very short life that we have, everything that you've got. Everything that you've got, and pushing forward and giving it everything. If you cannot dedicate yourself to something, I guarantee you later on you're gonna regret it, because you're gonna look back at age 70, 80 and say, wow, what did I accomplish with my life? What did I actually do? What impact did I have on this world? I don't want you to look back and think, I wish I had more time. I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. I want you to be successful. So stop being afraid of the wrong things. The right things to be afraid of is worrying about whether or not you're making enough of an impact. Figuring out if you're doing enough, if you're taking enough action. Almost everything can be solved with enough massive action. Now, what I'm not saying to do is, I'm not saying to be just a complete idiot and go and do something that's ridiculous, like, I'm actually trying to now think of something that is too ridiculous not to try. And I'm going to retract my previous statement. Go ahead and try it. There are very few things that are so irreversible in this life that when you go and try it, that something bad's going to happen. Right now, committing crimes, that's a bad thing. You probably should not go and commit crimes. That's not a good thing. I'm not at all, saying you should go commit crimes. But what I am saying is you should go do the things that you want to do. Give it your all. Give it hell. Because when you look back and you think, wow, I really did something amazing. I really, really tried. I really gave it my all. That is something that you can be proud of. So don't be afraid of the wrong things. Don't be afraid of what people think about you. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of trying something and not getting the results that you thought you would have gotten immediately. And also, don't be afraid if you don't immediately see those results, because things take time. Now, Grant Cardone, he's one of an amazing sales trainer. I'm sure you've probably heard of him before. He's also a real estate mogul. He has this book out called, and it's 10X. And one thing he said in that book, I was listening to the audiobook the other day, I thought it was brilliant. He said, most people fail because they seriously underestimate the amount of effort that it takes to accomplish something. Okay, so think about that, right? When you go and try something, don't just dabble in it for a little while and back out, because you're probably not going to be successful. If you're going to try something, go all in. Give it your best shot. Give it everything you've got. Because when you succeed, when you do the things that most people are not willing to do, which is put yourself on the line and make yourself vulnerable and put yourself out there, you will have such a rewarding experience, and you will learn more about yourself and life in general than almost anything else. And I know from experience. I mean, doing these live videos, I do live videos all the time. I do live workshops. You know, I'm always putting myself out there, trying to just, you know, build my brand and help people and spread my message. And you know what? Like, it can be nerve-wracking sometimes. Like, being on in front of a live camera, if I say something dumb like that, that's on the internet forever. But you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it, because trying to spread my message and help people and trying to move forward together as a society, that is more valuable to me. And I care more about that than I care about failing, and I care about looking stupid, and I care about having a silly hair day and being on camera. I don't care about that stuff. That stuff doesn't matter. And to be afraid of that is to be afraid of the wrong thing. So I challenge you. I challenge you to think of the things that you are afraid of right now. What are the things that are holding you back? If you want to talk about them, let me know. If not, just think about them. Move forward. Keep moving forward. Always keep moving forward. All right. You guys have a fantastic day. Let's build a better world together.